Hi everyone, I'm Lauren Buckley and this is my final presentation for ICM 524. Today we'll be discussing the differences between qualitative and quantitative analytics and how this relates to social media. Quantitative analytics studies data that can be expressed in numbers, including descriptive statistics such as mean, median, and standard deviation. Quantitative data can be put into categories, ranked, ordered, or measured. Data can be used to construct graphs and tables. According to Demetrius Madrigal and Brian McLean, statistical analysis lets us derive important facts from research data, including preference trends, differences between groups, and demographics. Qualitative analytics tells the story behind the numbers. Qualitative data gathers info that is not in numerical forms. Information is gathered through personal accounts, open-ended questionnaires, interviews, and observations. Through these methods, information about users' behaviors, needs, desires, routines, and feelings is collected. To quote Madrigal and McLean again, they state that qualitative research studies can provide you with details about human behavior, emotion, and personality, characteristics that quantitative studies cannot match. Moving on, let's discuss what is big data. Big data includes everything collected, including images, database, location, email, clickstream, social data, HTML, and sensor data. In the infographic shown here, you can see how big data is funneled down into actionable intelligence and then stored in the database. When analyzing big data, a combination of quantitative and qualitative analysis is necessary in order to understand all the data that has been collected. Quantitative analysis helps to define stats and numbers, where qualitative analysis helps to further dissect that information by helping analyzers understand what drives behaviors. There are several ways to collect online data. Digital data can be collected through embedded tags, page flow, and Omniture logs. Omniture logs are website log files collecting info such as URL, timestamp, IP address, and user ID. Now we look into ways to breaking down all the data collected. The first category is vanity metrics. Vanity metrics are entirely quantitative. They include page views, logins, downloads, bounce rate, and click-through. These quantitative data statistics can be easily manipulated and may not necessarily correlate to the numbers that really matter. For social media analytics, examples of vanity metrics would be numbers of fans and followers, likes, and overall growth. Eric Ries states that vanity metrics make you feel good, but they don't offer clear guidance on what to do. This is why data collection can't stop at vanity metrics. We also need to look at actionable metrics. Actionable metrics dig a little deeper. In this example here, the graph shows Facebook's activity from monthly active users. Actionable metrics for Facebook would include active users and loyal users, as well as the cost of getting new customers and transactions. Next, engagement metrics are the number of engaged and repeat followers and fans, the number of shares, post-click actions, and conversations. Audience analytics looks at who is engaged, who is sharing, and who the followers are and who is taking action. Making sense of big data. As we've discussed, vanity metrics are entirely quantitative, whereas actionable engagement and audience metrics can be both quantitative and qualitative. Qualitative and quantitative research has different objectives. Quantitative data has numerical measurement, whereas qualitative methods are followed to create a story out of the quantitative research. Understanding motivations, exploring hypotheses, and defining trends helps brands get real concrete answers. Sean Donahue of the Huffington Post says, as communicators, even with what we have at our fingertips today, we need to immerse ourselves in the substance that contextualizes big data and allows us to make sense of it. This means committing more time, asking more questions, consuming more content, and never losing sight of the fact that data without actionable insights is meaningless. Let's take a look at the social media analytics for a brand. I chose to look at Fitbit. Fitbit seems to be becoming increasingly popular, especially with this holiday season coming up. And I thought it would be interesting to take a closer look at Fitbit and gather some quantitative and qualitative social media metrics about the brand. As you can see here, Fitbit has a social media presence across multiple platforms. This right here is a screenshot of their Facebook page. They have 525,000 likes. On Twitter, they have 122,000 followers. On Instagram, they have 31,400 followers. And they also have a social media presence on Pinterest, YouTube, Google+, and they have their own blog as well. Through social media monitoring tools, we can learn more about quantitative and qualitative analytics about the company Fitbit. Monitoring and listening tools including Google Analytics, Alexa.com, Social Mention, Topsy, What the Trend, and Retweet Rank are all examples of social media monitoring and listening tools. In this infographic here from Alexa.com, it shows quantitative data about the engagement of visitors to Fitbit.com. As you can see, the bounce rate is 39%. The average page views per visitor is about 3.8, and the daily time spent on the site is about 5 minutes. These graphs here show about the audience demographics of visitors to Fitbit.com. As you can see, visitors are primarily female, college educated, and they are browsing from work or home. Looking further at audience analytics, this quantitative table shows the percent of visitors from the top 5 countries. As you can see here, visitors are primarily from the US at 73.3% of visitors. This graph, also from Alexa.com, shows where visitors are acquired from. The graph on the left shows what percentage of visits to the site come from a search engine, and the graph on the right shows the top keywords from search engines that send traffic to the site. This graph from Topsy shows the number of tweets per day for the last month about Fitbit. In addition, the graph on the upper right-hand corner shows sentiment score. Sentiment score is an example of qualitative measurement because it gives details about what users are saying about the brand and if their sentiment is positive or negative. Fitbit has a Topsy sentiment score of 58. SocialMention.com is another social media analytics site that measures sentiment. As you can see here, Fitbit has a sentiment score of 31:1 positive to negative mentions. The brand has 27% strength, 23% passion, and 30% reach. So what does this all mean? As you can see from these examples, taking a closer look at Fitbit, there's a lot more quantitative data out there than qualitative. This is because quantitative data is easier to collect and more readily available than qualitative data. However, both are essential when studying social media and web analytics. As I mentioned earlier, qualitative data tells the story behind the data. Qualitative and quantitative data together unlock the answers brands need to study in order to understand their audience, improve on their online endeavors, and ultimately succeed.